What is going on, ladies and gents? Good evening. What is going on? Hopefully, we are doing well. What is up? What is up? What is up? Say what's up down below, guys. Good to see us all here today. Excited for us to get cooking. Very nice. Yeah, let's get rocking and rolling. Alrighty. Everyone, can everybody see me? Let me know down below if we can see me okay. That would be amazing. We got very good. What's up, guys? We got Albert in the house. We got Arnav. Good to see you, sir. We got Emmanuel. We got my man Jared. Good to see you. My man Leon. What is going on, brother? We got Marina in the house as well. Good to see you, Marina. My man Mike. Mike, good to see you. Melania, very good. Good to see you, Melania. Mohammed as well, as always. Good to see you, sir. We got my man Moko. Good to see you. We got Mr. Rob in the house. Rob, good to see you, brother. Welcome to your first sesh. What's up, Rob? Good to see you as well, Rob.
Good
We got Mr.
morning. Thank you, Justin.
What's up, Rob? Good to see you, brother. Very
You
nice. We got
too.
Robin in the house too. Very cool. We got my man Ron. Say what's up, Ron. Good to see you, brother. How you doing? We got Sama in the house as well. Welcome, Sama, as well to one of your first sessions. Very nice. Sean, very nice. Tina, welcome to the sesh. And Yasan, good to see you, sir. Guys, we're going to get right into it today. We got quite a bit to go ahead and make happen. I want to go ahead and lead off with some amazing forward movement for us and some updates and everything else in between before we get started here today. First and foremost, hopefully we're doing well. Happy Sunday to us all here. Okay, we are in the midst of Q2, ladies and gents, which is absolutely amazing. As we know, as I say every year, okay, Q2 is a season of building. Okay, you're going to start to have your friends, your family pull you from the laptop and trying to put you on the beach and all this fun stuff. Okay, we need to keep a centralized focus, right, to make sure that we're not getting distracted by the forces around us and we're staying focused here with exactly what we're setting ourselves out to do, right? Because the fish ain't just going to jump in the boat, right? We got to set our lines in there. We got to jig the actual bait correctly, and we got to go ahead and reel it in. That's exactly what we're going to make happen. So I'm excited for it. Let me start by sharing my screen as well here. We're having a full-on long-form Q&A session today, which is absolutely amazing. And for my new guys like Rob and Sama, I want to mention a few things, right? What's cool about these sessions is we sit here for unlimited amount of time. We go through everything every single solitary week, which is absolutely incredible, right? And one of the things I want to do to start us off, Ron, just like I was telling you about this morning, I would love to call you up, Ron, and basically just have you kind of give some feedback and insights coming from yourself, who's years into your game here, right? And you've, I'll just kind of give everyone the background here before we get into today's long form Q&A. So Ron has been with me for several years now, right? And Ron was an individual who literally was just a student here, right? Like us all, right? Looking to go ahead and build properly, right? And not get screwed over. And he didn't, know where to go, know what to do. And one day I released this $7, kind of walkthrough thing that I built that Ron got, and he ended up joining BSF because of it. So Ron, I want to bring you up here. And if you can talk to the folks that are new, and then if you could talk to our folks that are highly advanced, right, as well thereafter. So Ron, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you here. I would love to pull you up and have you kind of go through some of this. I want you to cover some of the things that people who are new will have in mind, right? Like, think of some of the things that when you were a new individual, like maybe you were scared, right? Maybe you were nervous to build the account for whatever reason, right? And then when you actually had insights and understanding, those nerves turned into excitement, which turned into you actually having a whole portfolio of businesses doing multi seven figures on multiple brands. And we took your clothing brand to Shark Tank, right? Literally, we took your clothing brand to Shark Tank from zero, right? And, I just want everyone to realize, like, Ron, if you can also talk about your story, about where you're from and everything, right? And everything else in between. I don't care what your circumstances, how young, how old, how crazy, how sane you are, or where you're from, what you do, whatever the hell it is, we can all make it happen, right? And when we realize that at the end of the day, the only thing that comes between us building successful businesses is systems and clicking the right buttons on your computer, right? It starts to become a little bit more reality. And I want us to understand that. Let's take a step back and let's ask Ron some questions, and then we're gonna transition into our long form Q&A. So Ron, first and foremost, brother, if you wouldn't mind, just for the folks who are newer, and also everyone obviously knows who you are. You're a BSF veteran, but even if we didn't, just give us like a walkthrough your story, your journey, and I want you to start talking to some of the newer people, and then also talking to our advanced folks, and then I want you to transition into when we start hitting 300-400K months on on our new brand. How is that? Is your mindset different now than it was when you were newer? And talk to us about those adjustments. So give you the floor now.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you as always, brother. Honestly, it feels a bit surreal, being on like this side of BSF right now, because not too long ago I was like, sitting there just like everybody else right now. And it all started back in 2019. Firstly, my name is Ron. I'm from India, and back in 2019 is when all of this actually started. I was like really in a very very tough spot. I was about in $70,000 in debt. From a failed business back then. Having no clear direction, where to go, still trying to figure out. The only thing
And
I was
Ron,
trying
that,
to
that
figure
was
out was how
was
do I
that
clear off the
70
debt.
was that $70,000 USD in debt while you're in India?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Right, that's pretty intense, right? And one of the things I
Yeah.
like to joke, but not even like to joke about, you never even told me that at first, right? You were just like, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to cook and build, right? And then you tell me after you had all this craziness going on behind the scenes, right? So I think one of the things to realize
Yeah.
there as well is back against the wall mentality goes a very long way,
Hmm.
right? And even if you don't have your back against the wall, kind of think of a way in which you do, right? And I've always excelled when I'm under pressure and I have my back against the wall, right? Same way that you did there, Ron. So continue.
Yeah, so it was a very tough situation. Um, I knew I just had to come out of this. Uh, and then I would just think about my life later, but just let's just figure out this whole debt part that I need to come out of, because my parents' home was mortgaged to the bank. I just had to come out of it. Otherwise, we would have been in the streets. Had it not because of you and ecom, bro. Honestly, and I owe you for a life for that, because of the skill set that you taught me.
Yeah,
And
and just to just give it back to you real quick, what you do inside this community and how much effort and love and energy and life that you dedicate to this community, like I consider I feel fully repaid and more, just so you know. So, you say that, right? I feel the same about you, right? You're an incredible individual. I'm more grateful that, you were able to make it happen, right, than anything. And, like, do we work together every single day, right? Fucking love you, bro, right? And we literally work all day, every day, right? So,
yeah,
I am eternally grateful, right, that you have been able to make it happen, and that's like we're on a mission to do this with every single person we work with. So, I like it. I appreciate that as well.
appreciate you, bro. But yeah, like the day you told me that I have to be a part of BSF and take care of the students, I had just one goal in mind, that will, change my life. I'm gonna make sure that every student at BSF is treated, the same way, and whatever bad situation maybe they're at, we just need to get them out of it. Period. But yeah, back then, situation was so bad. No clear vision. I was not even at the right environment, and that phase, to be very honest, was so frustrating, because it feels like you're putting in the effort, but it's not really getting anywhere. And then I got introduced to the $7 program that Justin launched back then. Those of you who have taken the $7 program, you all know, before platinum. So it had the basic product research information. It had our farm system. So what I did was I simply went ahead and implemented that into my store. Like I already had the clothing store running, because I was like running one YouTube video to another, and I just prepared like a shitty looking store, right? Which was obviously not making any sales back then. But
Yeah,
yeah, the product research
and
method
one
I
thing as
used
well.
back then.
One thing as well. So, like Ron just said, guys, like he came in, right? And we have so many, people where I've tore your store down, we built it back out, you start fucking crushing it. You're like, thank you, right? The whole point, and guys, like when we start tearing, if you're new and we start tearing your store down, it's not because we think it's ugly or this or that. It's because we already know what works, right? There's no sense to sit here and stroke our beard until midnight. I wonder how to make it work. We already know what works. We know the structure that works. So if you have a store, right, and you're newer, great. Most of us here are intermediate veterans or have been with me for at least like a few months now. I only have a few new people, like Sam and Robert. But the difference here, and yourself, Matt. But the difference here is like when you come in, with an asset built like yourself, Matt, and like, we have like a lot of people have on hand, we're going to break it down and build it back up. So, just be ready for that. And Ron didn't have any, pushback on that when we, had to break everything down, right? You were open, right, to doing things correctly. And I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, and it wasn't like everything magically worked out, overnight. Like that's one of the most important things that we must realize, that a lot of people think that e-com is like, oh, you're gonna make money overnight. That's definitely not how it works, right? So I went through the same kind of confusion that most of the beginners are facing right now. Product research feels overwhelming. First product doesn't work out, right? You spend money on ads and then you get frustrated, right? So there were so many moments that especially in the beginning when you're getting started, the first 2 weeks or so, you feel that it's not for you. But then slowly, as you start implementing the strategies, it starts making sense. So
yeah, and Ron, like that's such a good way to put it, man, because I physically remember myself like doing it for the first time. I remember I was at Rutgers and I had a store that was doing well, right, and a house that was having like a poor few days, and I remember just walking, right, I remember just walking to my car after one of my classes. This is before I dropped out. This is almost a decade ago, right? And it was actually a decade. And I remember like I was just like shaking my head walking back to the car because I just didn't know what the fuck to do. I really did. And that was one of the moments I'll never forget my whole life. I'll never forget. I'll remember that moment like it was yesterday, because that was one of the only, like, you guys know me, I'm very, very motivated. I always figure it out. But even me, sometimes I got in my bag when I was younger, right? And I remember just thinking like I will make this work. Like no matter, I feel shitty right now, right? But I'm gonna make it work, So that was early on. And I think going through times like that, it ultimately prepares you to deal with like the other end of it, which is like you crushing it on a whole nother level. And then you look back at times like that and you're like, wow, like it really is like a mind game, right? Which is amazing. So, and when you have the systems, you have the structure, you have the guidance, you have someone screaming in your ear 24/7 how to do things correctly, it makes it easier. I wish I had this when I was in my position. Well, I didn't have that, right? I had to pay Oliver Talamean $90,000 when I was like 19 years old, right? And I flew out to Laguna Beach, California to meet with him twice, right? And I met with him in Texas once, and that's what I got for $90,000, right? And I remember telling myself, I was, with what I was building at BSF, I was going to make it 100 times better than what I paid him 90K for. But small story. But Ron, I love that point. Continue, my friend.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Like, this whole mindset shift that you're talking about, it was the same thing for me. Like the biggest shift for me came when I like stopped treating it like, I'll just try and I'll move on and I'll try something else. We just cannot have that mindset when we are starting off with ecom and we are thinking that this is something that we are gonna make a big change in our life with, right? We have to treat it like I'm gonna figure it out no matter what, because this thing, it works, right? We have so many success stories out of BSF, right? We have our own stores doing good, so it works. You just gotta trust the process, you gotta trust in the system, and you gotta be consistent, right? And you just gotta stop jumping from strategy to strategy, because there's so many content out there on YouTube or on TikTok. It'll make you like over consume stuff and then make you confused. So you just gotta focus on one strategy.
And we call that a Frankenstein strategy, right? And think about it. If you're pulling things from this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and you're Frankensteining it together, your business is going to act like Frankenstein. It's going to walk like this, and it won't be able to actually walk straight, right? And it's not going to have a good margin, right? That's what you want to realize. You want to have a cohesive system from start to finish, right? And Ron didn't know this stuff before he got here, right? It seems like he's a professional and he's discussing that because he is. He's dedicated his life to becoming good at it, right? And when you truly understand these freaking skills, it's almost like I get overwhelmed by opportunity, right? There's so many different ways I can make money that it almost like makes me less money sometimes, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, there's so many ways and things I can do, and it's amazing. The good problems to have. But when you have these skill sets, it opens up the horizon for you. Whether it's you're building your fifth e-com store, whatever the hell it may be, or you're starting to do marketing for Jorge Masvidal now from the UFC. That's everything I've ever done. My whole freaking life stems off of building e-commerce businesses and e-commerce stores. Everything I own, everything I have, every single success I've ever done, I've ever had, is because of these skills, right? And what's cool is, I don't know if you guys noticed, over the last few days, weeks, and months, me and Ron have been adding new system content to our university as well. Brand new stuff, all added in there as well, which is amazing. But side note, I think what Ron said there is also key, right? Don't nitpick random things and put them together. You need cohesive movement and cohesive systems. Ron, continue.
Yeah. So yeah, like now moving for moving back.
I'm sorry, Ron. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
There's just a question that Marina asked. I just want to ask it. So when you started, right, how long did it see you to start seeing your first sales come in?
Oh, literally day one. So after I took the $7 program, and as soon as I started running the ads, I saw the results coming like literally day one. And then it was about more consistency. What was that, bro?
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's the difference. Like,
yeah,
with what, for example, that brand that we launched, Ron, like it's doing 400K a month. Like we're taking it to $1 million a month. We got the whole back end ready to go. But for example, if Ron and I launch a product that we don't see like ridiculous potential with at that point, we're just going to move on to something else, right? Almost everything we ever launch, we're seeing pretty damn good movement with, right? It's just that we're not happy with like 1, 2K, 3K a day, right? I want it to be at 10 or 12, or else I don't really give a shit, right? And that's the same thing with you, right? So that's why we're very selective, even with our products, right? And one of the things that we're doing as well that we've never really done, and I'm sure you guys are freaking appreciative of this, but like me and Ron, we're finding products that we know are hot and we're just giving them out. We're just giving them out. Hey, like freaking Pokemon cards, right? And that's what we're going to continue to do, right? And I love that because I never used to do that in BSF, right? But then I dawned on me, I'm like, why the fuck not? So I'm like, yeah, it's good enough for me. So we just started doing it, right? So, we're going to start doing that more and more and more as well. That was Marina's question. And then, okay, amazing. And then one big question from Marina as well, Ron, if you want to answer this. She goes, I still have that mindset. Let me try to see if it works. How do I change this mindset? When did you see your first big result? Were you able to reach millions in sales? How long did it take? I understand it's not overnight. She just wants to know before she gets moving, right? So I'll generalize that for you, Ron. Talk to us about how you went from a victim mindset, being like, oh my God, to calm, calculated, and dialed. I'm going to make this work no matter what. We're going to make it work. Right, Ron? Remember I would always tell you about when I was riding to the mall with my friends when I was super young, and I told them they didn't really think, oh, e-commerce is cool. But then I told them, like, no, guys, you don't understand. Like, I'm going to force this. I'm going to freaking destroy it. Right. So walk through, how do we get out of victim mindset? How do we get into, an actual good mindset? Right. And I expect every single person here to be in a proper mindset.
Okay, so here's the thing. So, when we are, in a bad financial position, or, we see that, life is not working the way we want, you just gotta believe that it would work. And, most people, what we do is we quit too early, right? We overthink, we procrastinate. And since we overthink, we don't kind of fully commit to the process. A lot of different things come to our mind, right? We just gotta come out of that mindset and, all you gotta, and what I did was I fully committed to the system that Justin taught me. And when I saw those results coming in, it started giving me confidence, right? More and more confidence, right? So I had a clear mindset that I'm gonna put all in, and then let's see if it works out or not. And it did, because the system works. I got my first sale. I got a little bit of confidence, right? Day 2, I got 3 more sales. My confidence went up, right? And then that's when, your procrastination, your overthinking and all of that, it goes away, right?
Yeah.
So
because you're excited to do it.
You need to have that mindset shift.
And I completely agree with that, Ron. I think once you really get yourself moving, you really start to get out of that like procrastination format and you start to be excited and wake up wanting to do it. Right. I think that's the biggest, most important point for
Yeah.
anyone who's new. Right. Now, Ron, let's transition into for advanced and scaling. Right. Let's say you're at 1 to 5K a day, you're trying to get to 10, 12K a day plus, right? Talk to us about the mindset switch that has to happen from 1K to 5K a day, right? Or from 5K to 10K a day, right? So now that, okay, you've made it through testing, which is the worst part, right? Anyone who's newer, right? Testing fucking sucks, excuse my French. But guess what? You got to do it. It's the bridge from one side of the road to the other, and you got to do it, right? Anyone who doesn't want to test, you're in the wrong business, my friend. You got to do it, right? Almost every type of business requires testing if you're actually looking to do it well and make good money, right? So now that we made it through testing, the most grueling, annoying process, right? And you're doing maybe 1K a day, 2K a day like Bob. Like walk us through how we go from 1 to 2K a day to 5K a day, Ron. What is the difference there? And is it harder to go from 0 to like 1K a day or 1K to 5K a day? And I would answer that question based off of the recent brand build as well. Did we really put in more work to get to 1 to 10K a day? Or was it harder to actually get from like 0 to 1K a day? Talk to me.
So yeah, so 0 to 1K was the hardest, I would say. 1 to 5K was hard, and 5K to 10K was easy.
It was not,
right?
it was just changing a number, right? It's like almost like
Yes.
we did nothing different. So I want you to realize the hardest part is going from 0 to 1K a day, guys. Okay, that's the hardest part, right? Which so many of us are fucking doing that, right? When you're there, going from 1 to 5K, you've already done something harder. You've already went from 0 to 1K. It's harder to do that than go to 1 to 5. Okay, and going from 5 to 10 is literally just adjusting your budget, right? And making sure that your KPIs are in line, right? So are you saying, Ron, it gets easier as it goes on and as you start to scale? It's exactly what I'm saying too. Talk to us about it. Talk to us about that, Ron. So talk to us about like 7 to 12K a day, right? Comparative to like 1K a day, right? When we're first starting the newer brand.
Yeah, exactly. Because, at that point of time, you have your pixel that knows the exact data you're trying to tap into. So it's so easy. If you're like adjusting the budget using cost caps or, our strategies, the farm system, right? The pixel just knows the kind of audiences that would give you purchases. So it's so easy for you to go ahead and grab those conversions from those, buying pockets of Meta. So, the initial phase is hard, right? But then after you have acquired enough data, then it becomes easy. And then you actually start to get into more branding. You start to get into profitability, right? So that's when all of it comes into place. But yeah, the first half is like the toughest. And then the second phase of scaling, 5K onwards, is like the easiest.
Yeah, and Meridian, Ron's done almost 8 figures at this point. He's done multi 7 figures over and over, not only on his own brand, but also on the brands that we've built together as well. Okay, now, Ron, here's one of the things I want you to answer as well. So talk about the difference between a 6-figure brand and to piggyback off of Marina's question, a 7-figure brand, right? And I'm talking like, so what's the difference between like doing like 10, 20K a month and then doing like 100 to 500K a month, right? What is the difference? What is the product difference? What's the market difference, right? Is there inherently a difference in skill set from someone who's doing only like can't pass like 10 to 50K a month and then someone who's doing like 100 to 500K a month? Like what is the differences, right? Walk us through that difference from your perspective. And then after this round, we're going to transition and start our long form Q&A.
Yeah, so there's a big difference in skill set, I would say, because launching is one, and then scaling is another. So you constantly need to be adjusting budgets. You constantly need to be monitoring your campaigns. So when you're scaling at that point of time, you become like a full-time marketer, right? And you want to be literally managing the business to a point wherein you are constantly getting sales and you have a team outsourced that you're managing the back end part of the business, right? So scaling is where you need the most of the marketing skill set. And, Justin's a goat at it. So, we are going to be running you down through how you're going to be scaling. So I honestly feel that the first half, when we are going from 0 to 1K, right? It's definitely time taking, but then we already have a roadmap put up for you. But then the main business is built when you're actually scaling. That's when you need Justin's brain to go ahead and put the business into automation and run it for a longer period of time, right? Than making it like a 2 week pump and dump.
100%. And that's huge. Right. And I think, a lot of us would be happy with just like, oh, 2 weeks doing good, right? But the goal is like,
Yeah.
this is a long-term business, right? We're not going for something to do good for a month, right? We're building the infrastructure so this thing runs for years and years and years and you sell it, right? That's what you're really building here. Not just building, oh, I want to make sales. You want to build the infrastructure to be an actual asset to yourself long term. And that's what we build. That's the only thing I typically want for my own self in my career, right? Is enterprise value. At this point in my career, I only want enterprise value. I want things that I could get leverage results from, where I put in time and effort and I'm going to see 4 or 5x return, right? When I sell, right? Not just the return as I'm marketing and running my ads. When I sell, I want it to be worth all the time and effort I put in it, So that's amazing, Ron. Thank you for that. And also, Ron, I want to say as well formally, right? One of the things that you have, you're incredible on is not only the way that you support our community here, but everything else in between, the way that you conceptualize us working together, right? You feed it to the students. And I think that's one of the big things as well, guys. Ron is in my brain and deals with the crazy Justin behind the scenes, right? And he's able to see when when I wake up frantic or whatever the hell, like I'm like driving orders left and right. Ron's able to filter it, right? And, push it forward in a really good way. So when you're working with Ron, you're not just talking to someone who's like just my right hand. Like this guy's literally in my brain, helping me like decipher my own thought processes and put it into forward movement, right? And Ron, I'm very proud of what you and I have done with our portfolio and everything else in between, and obviously BSF. But you're a genuinely good guy, and I couldn't be more happy to call you one of my best friends and business partners, man.
I appreciate you for life, bro.
You too, bro. All right. Like, bro, what's up, bro? Bro. Last question for Chris. He goes, my question goes to both Justin and Ron. I guess even at your levels, you still have days where you don't feel mentally well or have anxiety and whatnot. How did you navigate those? And when you started, and how has it changed since? Anything you two would tell your younger selves regarding the mindset and discipline? Chris, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, and then Ron, you probably have your own opinion. I got way more to lose now than I did when I was younger, right? So honestly, all like the craziness, like I've learned how to deal with it, but I think I have more now because I got, you know what I mean? Because I got so much I'm dealing with and so many things on my plate, but I've learned how to deal with it in a way where I love it. I feel weird when there's not things on my plate. When there's no mashed potatoes and steak and gravy and there's nothing there, I feel weird, right? I need there to be a lot because I've conditioned myself to always be moving and doing something. So, Chris, I think a part of that is the grass is always greener on the other side. The grass is always greener. Like when you have nothing on your plate, you want everything on your plate. And when you have everything on your plate, you want nothing. And I think the answer is learning how to love having enough on your plate to where you live the life that you want, right? And you're not only a successful individual, but you're also a happy individual, right? And I would say there are some areas of my life where I have less stress things, obviously like financial pressure and everything like that are obviously not the same anywhere close to when I was younger, but the pressure to be great. People, my whole family and everyone I know expects me to do 10 out of 10 in everything I do, right? So when I hit 10 out of 10, it's just expected now, right? It's not, oh, good job, Justin. No, it's expected, right, of me and everything that I do, right? So I strive for 10 out of 10 with everything that I do. And you could say that could bring a whole new different type of pressure, right? Not financial pressure, but a whole different types of pressure, right? And maybe that can affect, you similarly. So my answer to yourself, Chris, is what I would tell my younger self: keep going. You got the right idea. You will force it. You are that crazy. And all the times that you spent yourself worrying, stressing out about the family and you and your all of that was almost blank worries because everything has went extremely well, right? And I would tell my younger self to stop. And honestly, this is what I think was also responsible for me doing well. Only the paranoid survive. I've seen my family lose everything. I've came home from school, and as I tell you guys, like literally the house was the hell literally taken from me instant. Wasn't mine, it was my parents, but it was taken from whatever. So I come from a place where I've literally seen my home taken from me when I came home from school randomly. So I am paranoid that there's someone working a million miles a million times an hour more than me to take it all away from me again. And this is me just being honest, guys. This is how I feel, and I'm getting emotional saying it. That's how I feel. That's why I work so hard. I feel like there's someone working a billion hours a day to take it all away from me. And I'm not going to have it taken away from me again. It will not happen. I will do whatever I need to and do the best business I can in every single company I build to ensure that not only are we world-class in everything we do, but we are like breaking our own records and breaking records in the industries we're building in to get so far away from where I was when I was a younger kid that it's not even remote. And here's the thing, like I'm so far away, but the thing is in my head, it's a day away from happening again. You know, so I would say, Chris, if I were to tell my younger self, I wouldn't tell him to do things differently because I'm very happy with how things have worked out. But I would say I've like, you guys must think, oh, Justin had this like he was making money, doing well for a long period of time. A lot of that, guys, was filled with, yes, I'm doing well, but I need to keep, I'm not enjoying the fruits of, I'm keeping going, right? Because there's someone working to take it away from me, you know? So Ron, what's your perspective on that from your end as well? Like if you were to talk to your younger self, if you were to if you know, if you still have days where you feel like mentally like out of it or have stress, anxiety, like talk to us about that, Ron.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you mentioned, bro. But yeah, one thing I would tell my younger self that, hey, stop thinking less and manage your time better. I think if I had spent that time, I would have done like maybe 10x more. So yeah, I would just go ahead and tell that to my younger self that, yeah, don't waste too much time overthinking and procrastinating. It's all gonna work out. You're putting in all the effort, all the hard work. But yeah, that time wasted. Yeah, let's just not waste that time. Like, still put in that work, and you could do 10x.
100%. And also, Ron, and guys, like all of us here, like, and guys, like I know we're not into the long form Q&A yet. But you guys you love this stuff. First, I want to keep going. We're going to get to it shortly. Give me a one if you guys love this type of like preemptive combos before we jump into it. All right, good. Because I don't want to. I know we're not wasting any time, but like I'm the last guy to do rah shit, right? But I like to like this is genuinely huge. All right, amazing. I don't think we got any complaints. Very good. All right, yeah. And Ron, to answer Matt's question. As a newcomer to this, what is one piece of advice you would give Matt and Denise? Okay. And Ron, one thing I want you to also keep in mind as well, right? Matt is one of those guys. He's very smart, insightful dude, right? Clearly, smarter than the average individual, right? And has very, very, very good head on his shoulders, right? And has great guidance as well from his mom, Denise, right? With that context in mind, how would you say that he can utilize that to his advantage? Right. Sometimes we'll get people who, they get things super quickly like that and they're just on the same page. That's the type of individual that Matt is. Right. He's new. Walk us through what your suggestion would be starting off. Right. And one thing that's cool, guys, is Ron also works person with every single student, constant, literally. Right. So he has a perspective that can only be gained by being in the position that he's in, that you can't just emulate. So Ron, walk us through it for someone like Matt. And Denise, starting off new, what would you recommend in terms of being new, getting a good start, right? What's some advice, some things to avoid, etc.
So honestly, those of you who are new that have not yet had the onboarding call with me, so I'm going to give you all the sauce, all of the mistakes that we made back then. So you're not making all of those mistakes, but one thing I'll say is have that belief in you. And when you're getting started, have that patience because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Like Justin mentioned, the 0 to 1K, it's going to be a bumpy ride. So you just got to be patient. You just got to once you're getting started with ads, you just got to let the data feed in when you're spending on ads, right? You just got to give it time. And then slowly it's going to start working out, right? So you just got to be patient. You just got to put in all of the hard work. And put all of the assets in place exactly how we have outlined it in our blueprint. So
Don't get creative on me. Don't get creative on me.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something we got to be doing. We'll be guiding you through every step of the way, especially the first 7 steps that we have in the blueprint to build all of your assets. So you guys are not spending a dime on ads until we have checked every single thing, like every single piece of those assets, because we want to make sure that you're launching correct, right? And then you're getting successful, and end of the day, you're building a brand, using our systems. So just have that belief in you, and you're gonna feel like you're getting stuck, right? You're feeling stuck, but trust us that you're going the right direction. Like if you're following the systems correctly.
100%. And one of the things I'd say as well is do not rush to ads. And this is a pet peeve.
Yeah.
This is also, I don't know if anyone noticed here, but I've changed the avatar of who I let in this program. Right. I don't know, and I mentioned this once, I think about a month ago, but I changed the avatar. I'm only people I'm letting in here are individuals who they have done well before in careers, right? Or they've done well in something and don't have that whole victim mindset thing. Because it's not like if you have that, this is not the right business, right? You should not so I've literally changed the avatar of individuals that I prefer to work with because of that, right? And it's been great, right? And one of the things to mention is don't rush to ads. Okay. Because one of the person who is in a victim mindset, like, oh my God, I need to be fucking rich tomorrow, even though it's impossible, right? They're going to rush everything, rush all their product research, rush all their ad copy, rush everything, tell us that they're getting it audited, but not get it audited, And then I'll catch it later. I'm like, we didn't audit this. What, Ron, did you audit this? I'm like, he just told us we got it audited. You didn't get it audited? And we're behind the scenes like, okay, and this is what's going on, right? So don't rush to ads because guess what? The ads just magnify the work that we did in between, right? And if you start rushing everything, you're going to be getting caught up and not getting approved on a single audit. Then you're going to start like, oh my God, these audits take forever. Well, yeah, because what you're doing sucks and we're never going to pass it, being frank. And then what's going to happen is you're going to start pulling the audits back and not want to do the audits, acting like you did get them audited. And then you're going to launch. This looks like literally a toddler did it. Why the hell did you launch this? There's no shot you got all this audited. I didn't see any of this, right? That is what you can't do. That is exactly what you don't want to do, right? Exactly what I just went through. This is for everyone. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. I've gotten so many people successful. Okay, I got nothing to fucking hide. I'll say it straight up. Like literally, I've gotten so many people successful that when I see someone who's automatically going in, and because I've done this for so fucking long, I could identify it very quickly, right? And when they might even be able to identify it. If you're rushing through things and you're skipping audits, we're going to call it out and we'll book you on a private call and we're going to tell you that we're just not going to do it. This is not how we work, right? So keep that in mind, right? You want to operate with getting everything audited, right? Moving calm and calculated throughout getting everything done and doing it correctly. Because when you do things correctly, it may take a little longer. It may be grueling. It may be ugh. But then when you launch and you're starting to see sales in 12 hours, it's all worth it, right? That's the difference maker, right? So that's what I want us to keep in mind. And even for my folks who are on the journey, y'all know that, right? You know that. So great stuff. All right, Ron, victim mindset is someone who, charismatic mindset is basically someone who comes into something and they just start giving excuse and reason after why they can't achieve, even though the person who has it 10 times worse, the other person comes in giving every reason as to why they can achieve, right? And that's the difference, right? You cannot have a victim mindset when you're doing entrepreneurship, because let me tell you right now, entrepreneurship and Facebook ads will give you every damn reason, okay, to believe your victim head. Okay, that's why you cannot be on that side of the pond. Okay, Ron, closing remarks. We're going to jump into long form Q&A. Any closing remarks for just in general, right? Talk to new individuals, talk to folks who are scaling. Closing remarks for each, if you could.
I mean, honestly, for the new guys, whatever we discussed today should give you belief. And, if you have been here for our veterans that have been here for a while but feel stuck, honestly, what we discussed this should give you direction, right? We've been doing this for several years now. So the system works wonders. Like I said, you had to be so you guys got to be so well versed with the system, right? And if you have that clear mindset that you can do it, right, and you're implementing everything completely as per the system, there's no way that it's not going to work, right? I am a living proof that the system works wonders, right? So just have that belief that you will be able to do it, because like I said, initially it's gonna be a bit of a bumpy ride. So you just gotta be patient. You gotta let the data, feed the pixel, as you spend, and then slowly you're gonna see results, right? Let's not come in with a notion that e-com is gonna make us millionaires overnight. It doesn't happen that way. It is a business, right? Think of it like you're operating a physical business. You would have had investments into rent, into physical marketing and all of that stuff. So all of this that you're investing into, let's say Shopify, your ads, it's just the start line of this whole racetrack. So you just got to be patient and move slow, and you'll slowly start to see break even. So that's like a lot of new guys think that they'll invest into it and they'll instantly start seeing hundreds and thousands of dollars. So that's not how it works, right? You have to give it time as if it was a proper physical business.
Amazing. Ron, thank you very much, my friend. Great stuff. Guys, let's give Ron a round of applause down below. Appreciate your time and effort and everything in between, Ron. We're going to jump right into our long form Q&A now as well. Marina, we love having you as many years as you like. The same thing, as long as you guys want to be here, like I told you guys, I want this to turn into like a Tony Robbins type thing where I'm like 95 years old still doing it, right? I love it, right? I am bouncing the idea around. Like there's people trying to acquire me and things like that, right? But I have to hit bigger number to get the acquisition pricing that I want. But I don't think it's, we'll see. But we're going to be here for a while, guys. So don't worry. Great stuff, Ron. Okay, we're jumping right into it. So guys, as we all know, we're going to have our long form Q&A as well. We're going to get everything cooking here, right? If you don't have any questions today, it's your first day, totally cool. No problem. Like I said, just make sure that you're listening, taking it all in, right? Kind of exposing yourself, getting marinated. For like yourself, Matt, it's good just to marinate here. You're not gonna have many questions, but you'll kind of get an idea of some of the questions like Bobby and stuff has. And we'll get right into it. And we got my man Bobby first and foremost. Bobby is doing roughly 1K a day right now. Very, very nice. Bobby, how are you doing? Good, sir. Good to see you. Mahalo. King of Hawaii. How are you?
How's it, Justin?
Yeah, good, brother. How are you?
Good. I had a couple questions here. As usual.
Good. Hit me with as many as you like, brother.
Well, first topic is the text app you guys were talking about like a few masterminds ago. It was like a text
Cart?
What was it called? Text box or text?
Here's the thing. It's called TextCart, TXTCART. But frankly, here's what I want you to do. Download TextCart, have TextCart, but then hit up your email marketer and tell him you want him to be doing SMS for you as well. And you're going to have the combination of Sangam doing email marketing and TextCart. And Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you're at 27% of your revenue being driven by email and SMS. Was that correct?
Like 29.
29 now? Holy shit.
It's almost 30, yeah, basically.
You're doing better than our new brand. You know that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we're getting 22%, you're getting 29.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like 29%. He
You
does
want
do
to-
SMS in there. That is it like in our welcome flow series or whatever, there's SMS in there.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like Sangam's good at split testing. So just tell him split test and find out what format SMS performs the best at, and then repeat it.
Okay. So I should let him deal with the text card or I do it.
Oh,
Here's my recommendation. Because I don't want you paying 10% to Sangam when he could automatically, you can automatically just set up text cart yourself. Spend
Okay.
20 minutes, set up text cart. You'll save yourself 10% on every sale, right?
Uh-huh.
Because that will be what you set up. And then what you're going
Right.
to do is you're going to have Sangam also do SMS as well, and he'll be making his bread through the SMS that he converts through his campaigns. So in short,
Okay.
you'll have text cart going. You'll set it up yourself. You're not going to have Sangam set it up. You'll save
Huh.
yourself the 10% commission, and you'll also
Okay.
go ahead and have Sangam do SMS as well for yourself on just solely commission based.
Okay. Yeah, I'll download it and check it out. So is that more of an automated thing once you set it? You kind of set it and let it go, or you got to constantly
Yeah. No.
iterate
Text
on
cart
it?
is set it. Text cart set it and forget.
Oh, okay.
But
Got it.
Sangam is going to have to go ahead and do the blast manually. So he's doing it manually, and that's why we're giving him
Yes.
10%.
Okay. Got it. So
Does
I
that
should
make
tell
sense,
him
Bobby?
I should what?
Does that make sense, brother?
Yeah, but I should have him just tell him I want to expand on SMS past what we're already doing in our flows and
Yeah, because if he's
Take it
already
to the
you're
next
already
level.
at 29, Bobby, I think you could actually get to 40, right? And then you could
Right,
like jump, you could spend. And guys, listen to this, right? This is huge. And Denise, I think you're gonna love this. But for example, like, when you're starting to convert like 30-40%, okay, on email and SMS, etc. Okay, that's a lot of your revenue is being driven through through a channel you've already spent a little acquisition on like maybe a week or a month ago, but you're not paying for that right now. Right. So when you're getting 30-40% of your revenue through email marketing and SMS, which you're not technically paying for at that time, you could start spending way more than your competition to even acquire a customer. Right. And then what happens is anyone who tries to compete with you just gets washed out. That's why in our market, like if anyone tries to sell what I'm selling there, it's like I'm just gonna wash them. Right. Because I could just spend more, right? Because of the way that we have our things set up here. Right. And that's how we all set our things up. And that's why also, guys, we're pushing, like Bobby does, not just one unit, buy two, get one, buy three, get two. Right. And we all do that here. Right. So anyone who's trying to compete with us, automatically, 90% of them are just trying to sell one unit. They're not actually bundling things. Right. So just off the bundle alone, we're going to be able to push people out the market, not even counting all the other additional system builds that we're doing, like SMS and email. So it's exactly correct, Bob. If Sangam gets to 40%, I'm going to encourage you to start spending like $5 more per acquisition than you would be comfortable with.
Yeah. Okay.
And then what's going to happen is the following: you're going to get so much data, so many extra sales, so many people to buy from you that the bid and auction placement, or you wouldn't have gotten before because you either would have turned it off or the cost cap would have spent or whatever you're running. And then what ends up happening there is you start getting more data and new data, and it just starts to get even smarter and just perform better, and sometimes get you lower cost per acquisition, even though you're trying to spend more. So,
Okay, sounds good. So that's kind of a good segue into my next question. And that is, besides just setting up like the signature collection of products, how should I be working on trying to get second time purchases?
yep. Okay. Well, this is what you're going to do. Everyone, please write this down. And this is what Ryan and I are doing internally, that it's making us a lot of money. Right. So first and foremost, signature collection. What the hell is that? All we did, Sama, all we did, Matt, all we did, Leon, all we did, guys, is we simply add, I'm like, hey, yo, Ron, our winning product is in, let's say skincare, for example, is in skincare. I'm like, hey, Ron, go on Calidata and find the top 15 hottest products that you can find on Calidata from hottest to lowest. That's it. I'm not doing all the research and everything that we did to find the initial item. We already have the winner. Okay. It's the hardest part of the whole thing is finding the winner. Okay. And that's the first thing you do. It's hard. Okay. Guess what? That's the hardest part. Once you have that and it's selling, guess what? Ron, go find me the top 15 sellers on Calidata, pull them, put them all on our site, right? And build out high converting landing pages for them and call it signature collection and make it the top and first clickable link on the burger. So when you're on your site and you're going to go ahead and you see your product, right? You can click the burger drop down. It says signature collection. Also, I say, hey, Ron, go ahead and toss that signature collection on homepage. Why? Because guys, I'm driving lots of traffic, right? I think we're selling like sometimes 600 to 700 units a day because I'm selling like 3 to 5 units every sale almost, right? So I'm selling about 700, almost 1,000 units a day sometimes. Okay. And there's so much traffic going to my sites. Guess what's happening? There's overflow. People are clicking here, they're clicking here, they're clicking everywhere. But when you're first starting off, the only thing you care about, guys, is your landing page. We only send the traffic to the landing page at first. But as we start to hit like 1K day and beyond, then we add signature collection where the external traffic is going to start to make its way to that signature collection. And what's going to happen is you're going to start to see people add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes fucking 10, excuse my French, items to their cart at once. Okay. And that's exactly what Ron and I are seeing consistently. Ron, we're getting $400 to $500 orders, right? Because of signature collection. And I'm only paying cost per acquisition for one $39 buy, right? And I'm getting $500 order. Okay. Now, to answer the question there, what we do with signature collection is we go on Calendar Bob, you type in your market, you find the top 15 items, and you list them all on there. You don't want to put more than 15 really, because if there's like a ton and people have to spend a ton of time looking through it, it's going to lower the conversion, right? So 15 or less, right? And what's going to happen is it's going to bump your average order value. Okay. So this, and just simply increasing my pricing by $4.95, increase my average order value by almost the exact amount that I increase the average order value by $5 by, and by adding like an extra unit, because most people are buying extra units. Because in our market, these people are very, very emotional at that time, and they're just scrolling constantly, right? So it's a very good market to upsell, right? And yeah, that's what we're doing for the signature collection, Bob.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I get that. So I guess my real question is like, so that might get them to buy a second product on their first purchase.
Yeah, and this is where I was going with that. So with the signature collection, you're going to notice, oh my God, this one's selling so much more than everything else. Okay, so you're going to have your signature collection, and you're going to see which one's doing the best, and there's going to be a clear winner, right? There's a few other winners that Ron and I have tested, and they've made sales, right, in our same market. They were not as potent as like our main winner. So what we did is we just took those items. We're not running traffic to them, but they're now in our actual signature collection. And what we do is we're taking these hot items that we're noticing people are asking about a lot, they're buying a lot organically, and then we're taking those items and we're blasting it out to the email list, right, for the people to come back and buy, right? And what we're getting is second, third, fourth, fifth people buying, right? Because all the products are in the same niche and market, right? And the only things we're selling are already complementing or advancing what they've already bought from us. Right. So that's how we're bringing them back. What you can also do, Bob, you can start to introduce other products to your site that have MRR. This is a little bit more advanced. I wait until you're at like 8 to 10K day before we start doing this, right? Because when you start doing 8 to 10K day, you're having such crazy traffic. Even like a little piece of MRR every day is going to make an impact by the end of the few months. So for now, like I said, find your best external winners via signature collection, and then have Sangram start doing additional email blasts, selling those items to people who have already purchased from you.
Okay. So the primary channel is
email and SMS. Yes. And then we'll also build an MRR right down the road. Now,
so that would be a subscription or something like that. Yeah. Or
no, literally exactly. And guys, listen to this, right? So Bobby's doing like 1.5K a day right now, right? And one of the things that Bob said last week, guys, right? He's like, hey, it would have been awesome if I did like something skincare or something in that market where it's a disposable product where you could start building an MRR right away, right? So with the markets that we get into, right? Realize, guys, if you're selling a disposable item or a consumable item, like skincare, retinol cream, crow's feet, hair regrowth oil, etc., all the markets that I already know are doing well. That's why Home is selling in those. Don't even look at anything else, guys. Like, and again, this is not stuff, anyone who's been with me for more than 4 or 5 years, I never did this. I never, ever confined you to markets, because I think that was shooting ourselves in the foot by not keeping an open mind. But at this point, like I'm telling you, I see a big correlation where the brands who are getting built overnight and scaling hard very quickly and they're only in these markets. But my whole point to that is, please make like our 20 product list. If you can make 8, 10, 12 of your items disposable, consumable products like retinol cream, skincare type items that are creams, that's what I would really prefer, because you're going to have yourself do MRR right away. But that's not to say Can I not make? No, you can crush it with other items just like Bobby's doing, right? But I'm just saying these items are doing really well, for building in the back end, like back stuff for MRR, etc.
Cool. All right, got that. Last question for right now is so the last like 2, 3 days, um, I noticed I've gotten mostly just single orders, which wasn't like uh
Like not buying your buy two get one of your bundles.
yeah, almost every order was like single. Before I'd have like maybe like half. Does that indicate anything
Well,
specifically?
yeah, because I see something similar as well. And what it means is just lower quality traffic, right? So, for example,
Okay.
like it's good quality traffic. It's converting, obviously,
Uh-huh.
right? But like, for example, you know how when you launch Micro Big Bang, and then
Yeah.
like right away, since it was your first time ever launching Micro Big Bang, it goes to
Uh-huh.
like like the highest quality people right away, and you start getting like
Yes.
3, 4, 5 unit purchases.
Uh-huh.
Right. And Sama, Matt, Robert, don't get overwhelmed by this. We will go through this. Don't worry. It looks like gibberish, but you will master it. Don't worry. But when you launch this, right, you typically see really high quality traffic right away.
Yes.
Right. So what you're seeing, like your brand's been consistently selling, you're going to have a few days where sometimes Facebook just feeds you lesser quality traffic, dude. And
Mm-hmm.
those are why on those days your average order value will be lower. On certain days,
Right.
my average order value was like 62, and it's usually like 85. Right.
Yeah.
So I saw the same exact thing. But guess what I do? I'm like, okay, Facebook's just throwing me some bottom barrel traffic. Perfect.
Uh-huh.
Because guess what? In order to operate at the highest scale, I have to be able to keep my ads on when Facebook gives me that. Right.
Right,
And
right,
that's
right.
what's going to
Okay.
able to allow me to eat. You ever wake up and your average order value is double than what it usually is? Facebook
Yeah.
gave you a really good quality traffic
Uh-huh.
that day, but we're
Mhm.
not complaining then, are we? Right.
No.
Same thing. Same exact notion. Same exact notion.
Got you, got you. Okay, cool. So, I guess that's all my questions for right now.
You can have a
Other than
million
that,
more if
I'll
you
just
like,
be
brother.
focusing. Huh?
You can have a million more if you like.
Yeah. I guess from now, I'm just gonna keep focusing on just new creatives and finding those creatives that convert the best and keep the process going.
Perfect. That's amazing.
All
And
right.
wait, Bob, just give me like 30 seconds because I just want to go through my brain real quick to make sure that there's nothing else I want to tell you. Just give me like 20 seconds. Because I remember there was something I wanted to tell you. Sometimes I'll be in like the shower, like just going like this or like walking around the community. I'll get like a random thought about something I have to tell a client, and I got to start writing them down. Give me 1 sec. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is what it is. Okay. So, and me and Ron launched this, and it started to get like 5x the same day. Okay.
Okay.
So, you know how you have you have creatives that you've been quickly testing and they don't get much spend, so we turn them off within 7 days.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Take those creatives that haven't gotten much spend that we've already turned off, that didn't really get a
Uh-huh.
fair shake yet, right? And create another campaign like we spoke about last time called the creative testing campaign, and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
start getting spend into those campaigns,
Uh-huh.
right? But like start it off at $100 budget only. Don't keep it at a
Yeah.
high budget. Start it off at $100 budget, right? And then scale it by 20% every day that it maintains profitability.
Right.
What we've seen is half the creatives, Facebook was right. They were shit. They didn't perform.
Uh-huh.
But the other half actually did really well, right? And we were getting like
Right.
really good ROAS. So I want you to try that as well. It will start off on a low budget. Why do we do this? As we said last time, guys, Facebook is accustomed to giving the spend to the creatives that have already proven to make you the most money already. Meaning that Facebook as an algorithm is reluctant, is not keen, not happy to lower the spend from a creative it already knows it's made you money on and give the chance at spending on another one. Because why? Their algorithm is built for everybody. And it's basically Mark Zuckerberg saying, if you pull this spend away from this creative and you give it to this creative that performs less, Facebook's going to make less money because you're not going to spend as much, because now the spend is making less return. And that's why when you have new ads added to campaigns that already have proven creatives, right, they oftentimes won't get a fair shake, right? Which is why we externalize, the creative testing campaign on a small budget to go ahead and make sure that they can get a bit of spend, because what you'll likely start seeing is that Facebook was right, half the creatives were shit, because Facebook does know best in most cases. Okay, and Facebook could tell you before it even spends much, you know what, Justin, I see you put in good effort to these creatives, but I'm not even going to spend $10 on it because it's shit. It's not going to work, right? And then the other half, it will give it some spend, right? And it might start working really well, even though we've turned them off. So, Bob, that's what I want you to do. What this is going to
Okay.
do is allow you to extract more potential winners that you've already created. And then if
Mhm.
these do well, we'll be transitioning them into our big budget winning campaigns.
Okay, yeah. So I actually been talking to Ron about this a little bit, and I did do that. Um, maybe 4 or 5 days ago. I took my last batch of creatives from my big campaign, and I made a video testing campaign, and 3 or 4 of them actually performed like super well. And so the video campaign has been pretty much profitable, not every day, but pretty much the majority of the day. So I've been every day it's profitable for that day. I'll up the budget by 20%. On my big campaign, I actually just decided to kind of clean it up, and I just made one scaling ad set, and I put every creative in there that had gotten a sale, but I kept the budget. I kept the budget at 350, and so that one it gets a lot of sales, but it's not quite at the profitable. And he's
Efficiency. Yeah. Here's what I recommend. It's making
okay.
it's making lots of sales, which is good. We want that. But I want you to stabilize a little bit, right? So try dropping the budget by 20% until it stabilizes to like very, very high margin comparative to what we're seeing, right?
Okay.
And then let it slow cook. And then from that point, we'll start tinkering it up by 20%, right? Slowly again. But that's what I want you to do. Bring it down slightly by 20% and then push.
Okay. Got
And
it.
then one second, Jordan's question. How many ads can be in those new campaigns that you're running to creatives that didn't get spend? Let's say you had 10 creatives that got no spend. Should you make 2 campaigns with 5 ads or just one large campaign? That's such a great question. So this is how I'm doing it over the last few days. This is how we're doing it. One creative testing campaign, Jordan, and then you have one ad set in there that has like 3 to 5 creatives, right? And then you have another ad set that has another 3 to 5 creatives, right? So you could have every ad set inside of this testing campaign will essentially have a new folder of 3 to 5 creatives, right? And we've actually refined it. Yeah, yes. And every time that you're testing new creatives, Jordan, you add another ad set. So for example, if you did it again, there'd be 3 ad sets. Did it again, there'd be 4. Did it again, there'd be 5. Right. And the reason I'm doing that, and we've started doing this only over the last 3 days. Okay, because before we were running a previous breakdown, but this is what we're doing with the creative testing strategy now because it's more organized in the ad account and it's more kosher, which is what I like. So that is how we're doing it, Jordan, and perfect, makes complete sense. And Bob, back to you.
Okay. So I did discuss a little bit with Ron back and forth over messaging, and so what we had discussed was the next step was going to be I was going to set up another campaign for the image ads at $100 and see how it goes, because I do have a bunch of image ads that have
Yes,
performed.
yes,
And
we're doing the same thing.
yeah,
My image ads did terrible.
uh-huh.
They're like our new batch, like shit the bed, didn't even like do well at
Mhm.
all. So what Ron and I did is we turned off the ad sets and we just kept the campaign on because now we're gonna get more image ads and feed them, right? Even though my image ads did shit and didn't make me money and lost me money, right? I know image ads are amazing. I know how image ads do, so I'm gonna continue to make image ads and put them into my image ads campaign. But image ads is only a small little percentage of my whole ad account.
Okay. And then the next thing that he had suggested is take my scaling campaign, the 351, and then make it into like a cost cap on the scaling one. And so I'm gonna do that. And then the other thing I have a question on in that scaling campaign, like as I get more ads that get sales, like new ads that get sales, new creatives that get sales, um, is it advantageous to set that up as like 5 creatives per ad set in that, let's just call it a scaling campaign, versus one ad set and just keep stuffing it full of creatives that got sales?
Well, yeah. So here's the
See
thing.
what I'm saying?
So the reason that I am doing like I just explained to Jordan, the
Yeah.
different ad sets per campaign is because it allows me to be organized with which creative sets are doing best.
Right, right.
And I can turn off creative sets as well.
Right,
Right.
right, right.
So it's more or less an organization thing.
Okay.
Okay, and that's why I'm doing it.
Okay. So in my big campaign, I decided it was just going to be scaling only, clear out
Yep.
all the rest of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I one ad set and I have about 10 different creatives in there.
Yep. Yep.
But would it be better to just organize those as 5 per ad set in that?
So not for your big budget campaign. So I
Okay.
just want you to put the creatives into the with all the other ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Got it.
Because we already did the testing in the creative testing campaign.
Right, right.
And
Yeah.
now it's the only reason we're moving them over is because they performed, they've proven themselves.
Okay.
That's why we're doing it that way.
Got it.
Okay.
And then just every 7 days, I'll just clean out the ones that aren't performing and keep rolling.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, Bob.
Got it. Got it. So at the end, my setup, when I finish with all this, I'm going to have my video testing. I'm going to have my image testing. I'm going to have drop the budget on my scaling. And then I'm going to take that same scaling campaign and make a cost cap off of it. And I'll just have those 4 things running.
That's exactly perfect. And then remember, every 7 days, you're turning off creatives that
Right.
have not gotten less than more than $10 in spend. The only time you'll keep it on is if it got $10 or less in spend-ish and it got a profitable sale. That's the only time you'll keep it on. If it went to 7 days, you're going to be turning it off.
Wait, is that in the scaling ad set or across the whole thing or
It's in everything.
everything? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah.
And then Jordan goes, do you ever find that proven winners in testing campaigns underperform big? Sometimes, right? Because it's the first time that creative is put into the bigger budget campaign. So it sometimes needs like maybe a few days to kind of like get more spend and refine and optimize. But typically I see those after like a few days slowdown, putting it into a bigger scale campaign, that it usually starts catching up again.
Okay. So kind of question on that same thing. Like the same concept of why we're taking out the testing and making its own testing campaign so that it can give those creative like a good chance. Will I run into that same issue with the scaling campaign and it not giving creatives that could have been
Well, no,
performing?
here's the thing. Because it's already gotten spend in the testing campaign at a good result, it's going to already show Facebook, hey, this is green light to spend on. So
Okay,
that's
got it.
actually why we're doing it as well.
Okay.
So it will get spent. And that was one of the things that we wanted to make sure of. Right. And that's why it's super effective.
So by the time it makes it to the scaling campaign, if it still doesn't perform after 7 days, it had its due chance in like
yeah. That's it.
Got it. Okay, sounds good.
Cool. Great stuff. Let me know if you need